Questions regarding consent. What about sport clubs with constitution saying club membership means automatic membership of the regional and national sport organizations? Do they need to overtly bring those provisions to the notice of the club members?
I'll just pull that up so I can have a read. So it seems that this is in line with a question about, I guess, the consent to be a member.
I would think that it is something that would be involved in getting consent, just, without providing specific advice on that. I think that has to be made clear, I think, in your membership forms, that is the case. As I say, if people, ought to, I think, most prudently have membership of, say, a district or regional membership. I mean, it's pretty common for most sports that you're a registered member of a national body as well. But yeah, I think that shouldn't just be left or assumed if you are adopting best practice.
Okay, cool. The other question, and this one I asked, was regarding again consent from members. So I just wanted to elaborate on that. Is there a process involved? Like, do the members have to be made aware of responsibilities, or is it just like, do you consent to be a member? Tick, done.
You're talking about the responsibilities. Really, the members maybe have less to be concerned about than the office bearers, that is, say, usually members of the exec or management committee, because it is for an incorporated society at least, it is the management or executive committee that has a legal responsibility for the management of the entire society. Members obviously can participate in certain decisions, but the day-to-day running will fall on the management committee. So I think there's less responsibility in being just a member of a society or a sports club that is a society.
And then the main purpose of the consent is just for the consent to be a member.
To be a member.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Okay, next question is from Robbie. Robbie, are you able to unmute yourself and ask the question, please? Looks like.
Oh yeah. We need the financial statement every year. So do we need a high accountant to do the financial statement, or we just do by ourselves then send it to the company office?
Well, the company's office for the annual return for a charitable trust is pretty light on the detail. For incorporated societies, you have to file at least for small groups a sort of a cash financial statement. The new requirements under the Incorporated Societies Act sets out various tiers. So that is different size organisations in terms of the income they generate. So for anything other than very small organisations, you probably are going to need some sort of accounting assistance or the software. But there's requirements for review and audited accounts, which almost certainly is going to involve an accountant and probably a chartered accountant. So depending on the income, we're not getting into that in huge detail, but other than for very small organisations, you're probably going to need to be getting an accountant to assist to prepare financial returns or for auditing of returns that are prepared in accordance with accounting standards. So yeah, there might be more compliance costs for some organisations. Certainly as organisations grow, that is the case.
All right. Yeah, one question from me again before I get to the final question from Marist Eastern Rugby this is from the registrations, people who already have constitutions in place and they've just recently got legal advice to say that their constitution meets legal requirements. Are you able to give us some guidance on what changes might be required to make it suitable under the new law?
For the incorporated societies?
Yeah.
Look, at the moment, the 1908 Act still applies, okay? There will be a lot more guidance will be given, I think, by the registrar. As I say, there's a compliant trustee or, sorry, rules builder on the website. They'll probably provide a similar template for a new set of rules, because you're going to have rules that comply with the new legislation. Inbuilt into the legislation is a statutory model for dispute resolution and complaints, and you can adopt that and you will be legally compliant. But at the moment, there is no need to make those changes. The regulations have not been put into place yet. So we're continuing on. When the regulations are passed, I'm imagining there will be contact to all current registered societies to say that the changes are going to need to be made and the time frame for organisations. And I think there will be a lot of guidance on the website at that point as to the things that you need to do.
Cool. Okay, one last question, and this is from Marist Eastern Rugby. I assume Shona. Shona, are you able to unmute yourself and ask?
Good evening, everyone. It is Shona, not Ross. So just a couple of questions. Will trusts, etc., need to reapply for tax exemption when the new Act comes in?
Sorry, the incorporated societies.
Yes, sorry.
Well, trusts aren't under that legislation.
So will society
set up under a separate law? I'm not quite sure.
Do you mean if, sorry, do you mean if you're an incorporated society, do you have to reapply? Is that your question?
Yes.
I think the changes that certainly if you're a registered charity as well as an incorporated society, I'm not sure how much will need to be changed. You will need to advise the charities register of the changes to the rules at that time. But I imagine that the tax exemption would be ongoing unless the rules did something that affected it.
Purpose changed or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So next one, if registered members or players within a club pay fees, are they considered society members?
Ordinarily, that they are members of a club, and yeah, and so you need to keep a register. So people who pay subs will generally be seen to be registered. Your rules should include, that process. So it shows how one becomes a member, and so you need to do that. There needs to be consent to membership, and so it should be clear in your rules how you actually go about obtaining membership of the society. Generally, as I say, players paying us up will be members of the group.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And the last but not least, what is considered a small society?
There is a sum. I just can't think what that is. It is under 100,000. It may well be in the region of 50. It is on the Incorporated Societies website as to what a small and a medium. It's in the Act. As I say, it's not current. I can't tell you the exact figure, but there is a preliminary figure, certainly under 100,000 in terms of overall income, and probably quite a bit smaller than that. But yeah, it is. It's in the Act, and the definition between small and medium entity. So I just don't know the figure exactly.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
So John Williams in the chat very helpfully says that it's defined in S106 of the ISA. 50,000 is the threshold. Thanks. So there's a couple of questions, and in the interest of time, we'll kind of cut that off there. And after those, if we have any more questions, do email us or Andrew and Sabrina, and we'll answer you one-on-one. So someone called admin, I'm not really sure who admin is, but if you could unmute yourself and ask, please. Or I'll ask how are members of separate incorporated societies that are set up as a combined trust become members of the trust?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Me neither. Sorry. So if again, if you are really wanting to have that question answered, so if you could just email us, and I'm happy to have a chat with you, and I'll coordinate, and we'll have your question answered. Glenn, so this is the last question. Glenn, could you unmute yourself and ask?
Yeah, hi Sam. Glenn Campbell from Howard Packering and Baseball. I've been under the impression that as an incorporated society, we cannot borrow money. Can you please? Is that true or false?
Well, no. Look, a set of rules could allow for an incorporated society to borrow money.
Thank you.
All right. Okay. So before we head to the Karakia, if you wanted to run your poll,
Thank
yeah,
you.
I'll just do it. I'll just do it for you. So everyone, if you could please answer the poll, that'll be very helpful for us to keep running this sort of webinar, and for ACLC to keep running their charitable exercises. So if you could please answer this poll that I have just put up on screen. Well, last few seconds, I see 2 people haven't put the responses in. If you could please, that'd be awesome. And nearly at the end, or perhaps they're not able to somehow respond to the poll. So all right, I'll end the poll now. Hopefully that's enough responses, Sabrina. Cool. All right. So yeah, I'll just finish this session with a karakia, and a thank you again to our very lovely speakers. Thank you for sharing your evening with us. Much appreciated. So I'll finish with a karakia. Ka whakairia te tapu ka watea ai te ara, kia turuki whakataha ai, kia turuki whakataha ai, homie huie dai kie. Cool. Thank you very much, everyone, for being part of our webinar. It was lovely having you here. Sabrina did mention an email address where you could email her directly, or you could email us, and we'll coordinate if you have still any questions unanswered, or if you had some other questions that you wanted answered. Thank you, everyone, for your time, and hope to see you soon. Bye. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
How about you, Veg? Thank you.